The board are present. You would please stand for the pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up are approval of our November 19th meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I move the approval of the minutes from the November 19, 2024 meeting.
A motion to approve them. Second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Is there anybody here from the public who'd like to speak about anything? All right. First up is a public hearing for Hendricks Recycling Hendricks County additional appropriations. You want to talk about it, Lynn, then we'll open the public hearing?
Sure, I'll say a few words. I appreciate the council's consideration of our request. One important note, we're not asking for any county money here. We're just asking for permission to use more of our money that we have in reserves for paying costs associated with increased activities at our recycling centers mainly. So happy to answer any questions.
All right, with that, thank you. We'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody here that'd like to speak about this additional appropriations for Hendricks County recycling? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Any discussion or somebody like to make a motion?
Motion approved 1 through 3.
A motion to approve the Hendricks County Recycling Hendricks County additional appropriations 1 through 3. All in favor, say so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Who seconded?
Larry? 7-0. Thank you.
I'll get those to you.
Next up is the contract for our legal advisors. Motion to approve by Mr. Scott. Second by Mr. Wicker. Any discussion? All in favor, state so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Do you have a copy of this, Nancy, for me to sign on that, or do I need to sign this one?
I do have. I do
Okay,
have.
all right, that's cool. Moving on, new business, Sheriff Sadler.
So, it's been a few weeks now, but we were notified by mail that W. Fred Fissler's name is going to be put on the National Officer Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. So, there'll be a blue light ceremony during National Police Week, which is May 11th through the 17th of next year. And during that week, there are numerous events that go along honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in the past year on the national stage. So what I'm asking is to be able to use commissary funds to send members to DC for those events and to be able to pay for that out of that fund. We do have a resolution, and under number 1, in my thinking, I believe it covers it, but obviously when we did the resolution, this wasn't in my thought process. So I wanted to just make sure, obviously statutorily, we have to agree, the fiscal body and the sheriff, if I'm going to spend commissary funds, that we would have to agree on that expenditure. So I think the resolution does cover it, but either way, I wanted to bring it before you and just make sure that we were on the same page for me to spend funds to send members to DC to honor.
You have a general idea how many members and what?
So I'm looking at
total cost it'll be?
13 to 15 members, and so we're looking at over 20,000. Yeah. Now commissary funds, it won't. It's fine. The funding's, it won't be an issue there at all.
I have no problem with it.
Depending on coverage here,
Are you gonna go?
I'm going to go. Yes. COPS organization is going to send the Fissler family.
Was, I was gonna say, so
She'll be there as
children
well.
will have an opportunity.
Yes, yes. So, and there'll be events for them the entire week, and our members, depending on what their needs are of the events for the week, you know, may stay longer, may stay shorter. Depending on
When is it?
It's May 11th through the 17th.
Jack, my only advice would be is just split your deputies up on a couple different flags.
Yeah, we won't all go at the same time. There'll be a group of deputies probably go around the same time, administrative, and a couple deputies will go early, because not everybody will need to be there the entire time, so.
So since this is allowed by the ordinance, Rhonda, do we need to take any formal action, or do we?
No, I really do think number one looks like it covers exactly what he's doing, so I think you're covered.
Okay.
You might just put it in the minutes that you acknowledge that he brought it to you and.
Okay. Cool, all right, well, thank you, we're good with it.
If you have a moment, I only have one other
Yep.
thing that I want to say, and I know I spoke just briefly before. We also are considering, trying to figure out things that we can do to make sure that down the road that we remember Deputy Fissler and his service and sacrifice to us. So I'm also looking at some type of memorial that we could put in the new jail in the lobby. Obviously, there's going to be an expense to that as well. So just looking at different things and ideas. I would probably use the same commissary fund if you agree with that, or if you have an idea of somewhere else I need to look for the funding to do that. But I think it's appropriate for us to also find a way to honor him and make sure that he's never forgotten.
Have we lost other deputies before?
That's what I was
We have
just,
not.
never,
Really? Okay.
This is the first one.
So out of 200 years.
I mean, that's fine on the commissary, yeah.
just be reasonable with,
Sure. Yeah, just these days, things are expensive, unfortunately. I mean, no matter where you go or what you look at, you're looking at, it's
a whole
just,
new world.
unfortunately, yes. So, great,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
it'd be no problem, but you might want to run that by the commissioners.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, again, just had an earlier conversation and it spurred my thinking of things that we've been looking at doing, and want to make sure that we're staying on the same page. But, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lindley?
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
So as you're aware, we've had a difficult time finding a non-Republican appointment from the council to the park board. I've reached out to the Democratic chair of the county to seek a recommendation. I have talked to Vicki Byerly. I've talked to her via phone, via email, and it was a recommendation from the park board to the county council that she get appointed to the board. So that is why I'm in front of you this morning. That's our last vacancy that we have on the board, and if she's appointed, we will be fully staffed going into the year.
Looks like she's committed to the community.
Yep. She utilizes the parks, so that's a positive thing for us and gives us some different exposure with her background.
Can you confirm that she is a Democrat?
I did.
Betsy did, yes. We have struggled with that multiple times.
But
Mr. President, I move that the council appoint Vicki Byerly to the park board.
We have a motion from Mr. Hessen,
Second.
second from Mr. Brown. Any other discussion? All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is an appointment to the Clayton Liberty Township Library Board. It looks like the name of the appointee, is anybody here from there? The appointee is Lael Boyd. Did they give this to us, Nancy?
Yes, they had two vacancies at the same time. One had termed out and one didn't want to continue and one moved. So commissioners had one appointment and she had two names from the beginning. They turned in their
Okay.
the first one turned in their application to commissioners, so they appointed that person.
Okay.
I vaguely know her. She, at one time, worked with my wife, I believe, is in the library at the high school, and
Okay.
taught a little bit of Spanish for a period of time, so I think it's in their wheelhouse.
Is that a motion?
That is in the form of a
We
motion.
have a motion from Mr. Wicker to appoint, I think it's Lael.
Lael DuBois.
To the, and a second from Mr. Scott. Any other discussion? All in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Next up are additional appropriations. Does anybody have any questions on any of those? Oh, we open public hearing first. Open a public hearing, does anybody in the audience wish to speak about the additional appropriations? With that, we'll close public hearing, all right?
I'll make a motion to approve 1 through 6.
We have a motion from Mr. Scott to 1 through 6.
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. All in favor, state so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Next up are transfers, and there's quite a few.
Several of these are end-of-year switches, and because we added performance in, and it's just- I think this is less than we've had before, though.
It didn't seem very long.
I'll make a motion to approve 1 through 23.
We have a motion to approve transfers 1 through 23 from Mr. Scott. You want to make a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Wicker. All those in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We do have the status of funds that Nancy passed out. It's our highest food and beverage to date, so that's good. And then Nancy, do we need to do anything with these encumbrances? Do we need to approve these?
Just in the record that I gave them to you.
Okay.
Or approve that list, but there will be some fine tuning. If there's not enough money in the fund, I have to go to every
Right.
account line and check to make sure there's that much money. And-
Okay. So it doesn't take any formal action right now?
Yeah, so you'll have the full list in January.
January. And then, something else that, we're gonna take care of today if we could, and I don't know, is our meeting dates for next year. And I know Mr. Parsons is here, who successfully came in through a caucus, will be our new board member starting in January. And I know Nancy will. Are the third Thursdays at 9 a.m., will they work for you next year? Or Tuesdays? I keep saying Thursdays. Tuesdays?
As far as I'm concerned, they'll work, yes, sir.
They should work?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So, what this is a list of our, meeting dates for next year, the dates associated with them, and the reason why we need to do this today is, if we can, if you guys are okay with it, is to set the benefits committee meeting dates, so our healthcare provider can just get those dates scheduled. Everybody okay with that?
Well, I don't think we can't set that today, because, well, we've got a new member, we've got two new members coming in, so this is really something that needs to be done after we have a new group of county council members. I know we used to do this before I came on the council, and the way that we handled it, when I came on, the former, the last year's council had already done the calendar and elected officers and so forth. So what we did, I moved that we ratify what had been done, and ever since then, we waited until the new board had been seated and then set those dates.
There is a little hiccup now that we meet so late in the month.
Right.
So we won't meet till the 17th or 18th of January, so.
Since the two of you are here, could you just get consensus? I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's an odd situation. I get what you're saying, Larry. It's just,
Yeah, by statute.
Organizational day is the first
Exactly.
meeting, so.
Exactly. I think what we can do is to set our first meeting date in January, and then at the January meeting, adopt a calendar for all of these additional meetings.
So the first meeting would, the third Tuesday is January 21st.
So Aaron, tell them we're 99% sure those dates work.
Yeah.
And I gave this task to your incoming auditor-elect, and so she has worked on this.
And then do we need to make a motion? Our first meeting will be January 21st.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hessen, second Mr. Cox. All in favor, say so by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries, thanks. And then before I open it up to everybody, we'd like to recognize council members Wicker and Brown for their service. How long have you been on here for, Brad?
18 years.
18 years. He's gonna be a commissioner in a couple of weeks. Congratulations.
Thank
Anything
you.
you'd like to say?
I've enjoyed it. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to being a county commissioner. It appears to be a daunting job, but I'm up for the challenge.
Cool. Mr. Brown, anything you want to say?
Just, it's been fun. I've learned a lot. Got some stuff I want to try to go get accomplished, so maybe I'll be back one day, maybe I won't. But I've served with most of you Larry's been on here the whole time, so that's been kind of fun. Larry Hessen, not Scott, but I think I've had different people. You've been on here the whole time, so I'm just excited. This county's growing. It's fun stuff. It's fun to be a part of, so
Cool.
that's it.
Anybody in the audience have anything? You guys just talk, anything else? You guys good?
I'm good.
Mr. Wyatt?
Well, I just want to congratulate Brad on your new leadership role, and it's been a pleasure to serve with you, and look forward to serving with you on the other side, and wish you well with that. Caleb, I wish you all the best too, buddy, because I know the reasons why, and try to encourage you to figure those things out in your life and family, and there's plenty of time ahead of you to always come back. Now, whether we take you or not, that's a different story. Everybody wants me back, that's different. But it's been a great pleasure serving with both of you gentlemen, so I wish you the best. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and spend times with your family and friends and enjoy the times coming up. See you next year.
I first met Brad in 2004 when we were both running for county council at large. And there were 13 Republican candidates
Both got beat.
and 3 Democrats. And Brad came in 4th, and I came in 5th. And then 2 years later, he was caucused in, as I recall.
No, Paul Harden ran for recorder, and I ran for his districted seat.
Oh, okay, that's how, yes, okay. And so known Brad for a long time, and thank you very much for your service. It was nice knowing you. Caleb? nice
Don't
knowing
say
you.
that in past tense.
And Caleb, I've known his dad for, I don't know,
Ever,
maybe forever. So,
probably as long as I've been alive.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Hessen?
Well, I think I've served with 23 or 24 different council members. And I'd have to say that these 2 gentlemen are among the best that I've had the pleasure of serving with.
Thanks, Larry.
We both of you the very best.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Cox?
Brad, I'd like to say that I'm gonna miss your input, but I know you're not going too far, so you'll still be around. Caleb, I wish you well with your endeavors, and also will miss your input. I have one other thing I wanted to mention. When I was working, I traveled around the state and met a lot of different county employees and federal government employees. And I have to say that I am impressed with the professionalism and work ethic of the Hendricks County employees. And recently, for some unknown reason, a person made a letter to the editor which pretty much bashed a county highway employee. The letter stated time, location, red Ford truck with a number 23 on the door, which matches a lot of our vehicles. Obviously, the 23 you can see real well, but what town, county is not as readable. We have GPS on our vehicles. I got with the highway department and checked this out, and we did not have any trucks in that area at that time. Close to the area, we had some red trucks, but not truck number 23. This was described as a red pickup truck. Our truck 23 is a large white truck. So obviously it was not the Hendricks County truck 23. So my guess is if indeed this was a legitimate incident and not just made up, they could very easily have had a different municipality and not Hendricks County. So in support of our county employees, I also checked that everybody was working that day. Nobody remembered having any incident with a citizen. And so I just want to, since I hate doing this in public, is because really, if a citizen has an issue, it should come into personnel, department head, commissioners, council, somebody, but not all over together. So if they want to do that, we can't stop them, but I wish they wouldn't do it that way. But bottom line is, I positively say it wasn't a Hendricks County truck 23 and a Hendricks County employee involved in this particular incident. So with that, I'd like to say happy holidays, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
You have anything, Rhonda? Anything, Nancy?
I just want to say thank you too. I worked directly with the
Oh,
council
yeah, this is
as
Nancy's
auditor.
last, I forgot she's gonna be here, so yeah, this is also
16
Nancy's last
years.
meeting as auditor.
So
You're moving from one seat
I
to
feel like
another.
I'm well prepared to shift. So, and I appreciate working with everybody. I'm sorry I won't be able to continue working with Caleb. He's been great. Brad, I remember the caucus you guys were remembering, and you came in fourth, and he goes, it doesn't feel very good to come in
That hurt.
fourth.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't feel good to lose.
When we ran against Herschel Disney,
Yeah.
Dick Thompson, Larry Hessen.
So
I
it's
figure I
been
probably earned the fourth spot, and that was the appropriate place for me.
No cigar.
The first time I ran was in 2000. There were 14 of us running for council, and I got 13th out of 14. So that's
Look at you now.
look at me now.
Look at you.
with the caucus when you won,
Yeah.
there are 3 people.
Mhm.
So you got your name in there and moved up.
But Eric, for most of us, we all look up to you.
Oh, thanks.
Some more than others.
Hold those pockets.
No, I appreciate working with Brad and Caleb. I mean, we're good friends, and Brad, I've known Caleb for a long time. I talked to him into running for the first time, so.
You did?
And then I.
Sit in a sushi bar.
Yeah. And then Brad and I have known each other for a long time. He helped me run for Congress back in 2010 and spent a lot of time in the truck together then.
Mine.
Yep. And then Nancy and I have known each other for a long time too, and we've had a lot of disagreements, but I think we're much better working relationship now, and I really appreciate that.
Mr. Roth, if you don't mind, I'll tell a funny story, because we were sitting there, I don't know if you remember.
Uh-huh.
We were sitting there, and we were actually at Tegra Bistro, and he was like, you should run for council. I said, I don't even know what that means. And he was like, appropriate budgets, financial part of the county, it'd be great, you'd be good at it. And I was like, well, how do I do it? He's like, we gotta get elected. I said, well, how do I do that? He goes, get more votes than the next guy. So, anyway.
That's Eric in his direct way.
That was Eric and that's been great. But also something funny, I was telling Larry this morning, hopefully I've had a better impact on this county than I did my kids, because I dropped my daughter off at school this morning, she's 16. And I said, well, Bailey, it's my last council meeting probably ever. And she says,
What's that?
oh, you're still doing that? Okay. And she was like, what? You didn't, I just keep remembering the elections and you didn't. I was like, yeah, I caucus back in, it was a little different. She was like, I didn't mean that in a bad way, so it's just funny. So, anyway, God love kids, right?
And then something else, if you guys can get the list of appropriations emailed out to all of us, not appropriations, appointments, so we can have that before the January meeting, that'd be great. And start including Mr. Parsons on the emails too, so he's up to date. And you have to have to change your email address here at the end of the year.
No, my email address will change. And also some housekeeping, you two have keys for that office, if you can
I
leave
got 'em.
those. And if you have anything in there,
That seems unlikely, but.
Actually, it's in my car. I
including
took
my
it out.
old office.
I'll tell you right now, whenever you ask my key back,
Three
it's
keys on there.
been gone for years.
Does this need, I mean, this is a key too, right?
Right, Erin, I think, asked for those.
Badges.
Well, asked for the badges. I don't know if she collects keys too or not, if they have them, so.
I have my key in my car. It's not on my, but I have it.
There is some stuff in there. I pulled something out yesterday, and I thought it
If
was
you want another picture.
the new
like that,
comp
you
plan,
can
and it
post
was
on
2000. No, a space study, space study,
Space study.
2008. I'm like, I didn't throw it away, but
Kinda agree.
I'm going to.
It
Because we have a
almost
new
looks that
space
way,
study
so-
coming.
That's what my passport looks like.
All righty, anything else? We'll need a motion to adjourn.
Actually, you don't. Under Robert's Rules of Orders, you can just ask if there's any further business, and if there is none, you can call the meeting adjourned.
All right, any other business? Meeting's adjourned.
That's what you said.
Let's say Eric, is he gonna hesitate on that?
Y'all do good.